Hello! In this brief video we will walk through the basic functions of setting up your eClass gradebook. To access the Gradebook Setup page on your eClass course, begin by going to the course toolbar and then clicking Grades. Once in the Grader report, use the drop-down menu to navigate to Gradebook Setup. On the page that follows, you will be presented with your eClass course's Gradebook Setup. This will contain a list of all the individual grade items in your eClass gradebook, as well as features that will determine how they calculate into a final grade. If you have previously created any quizzes, assignments, or graded forums, or other forms of graded activities in your eClass course, you'll find them present in your eClass setup page when you first visit it. Please notice that the title and point value for each assignment of this type will have been copied over from the eClass activity that you created. If you wish to change the title or point value for any grade of this type, you will need to go back to the activity on the main eClass page and change it within the assignment, quiz, or forum settings. Along with having individual grade items listed, your gradebook setup will also contain categories. Categories in your eClass gradebook will take a collection of grade items and produce a final score or average. Categories can also be created for smaller subsets of items in your eClass gradebook. For example, in the sample course, there are 4 milestones for a service learning project that need to be combined and averaged. To do this, I'll need to create a new category. To begin this process, go to the top right corner of the eClass gradebook setup and click the Add button, and then click Add Category. A pop-up will appear for creating a new grade category, where you can begin by giving it a unique name. Then you can proceed by selecting a certain aggregation method for the category. The aggregation method will determine how the individual grades will combine to produce a final average. If you're unsure which aggregation method to choose, click the help icon for a brief description of each one. In this case, I want to set a different percentage weight for each phase of the project, so I will choose Weighted Mean of Grades. Once you are done editing the new grade category, you can click Save to proceed. When the new category is created, it will appear at the bottom of the Gradebook Setup page. To move it, click on the Move icon to the left-hand side of the category name. When the page reloads, you will see dashed lines representing the several spaces where your category can be moved to. In order to move the category, click on the space where it should be relocated. Now, I wish for the individual phases of the project to be nested within the new category I created. To do this, I will check off the checkboxes for each assignment that needs to be put in the category, and after doing so, I will click the Move button in the banner below. In the pop-up that appears, you will have the option to move the selected items to a particular category in the Gradebook Setup. For this, I'll go ahead and choose the Service Learning Project category, and then hit Move. Afterwards, you will find all grade items moved and nested within the grade category. In addition to the grade items that you already will have in your Gradebook Setup page, you may also need to create additional grades for any elements of your course that will not be present in eClass. If there are any grades that you need to add to your eClass gradebook manually, you can do this by scrolling to the top of the page, clicking Add, and then Add Grade Item. When adding a new grade item to your Gradebook Setup, begin by giving it a unique name. Then you can determine how the item will be graded. First, go to the grade type to determine what kind of grade it will be, whether it will be graded as a point value or graded on a scale. If your grade is going to be worth a certain point value, you can then also set the maximum and minimum scores that it will be worth. However, in this example, the item will be graded on a scale. After selecting Scale as the grade type, you can then choose which preset scale you wish to use. For this example, I wish the grade to be graded on a complete-incomplete scale. After selecting the grade type and what the grade will be worth, then scroll to the bottom and click Save. When the new grade item is created, it will automatically appear at the bottom of the Gradebook Setup page. In order to move it, same as before, you can use the Move icon. and then by clicking on one of the given spaces, you can relocate it to a new area in the Gradebook Setup page. Now that we have a new subcategory in the Gradebook Setup, notice how there's an indentation when you're trying to move it into a subcategory. Lastly, as a general rule of thumb for the Gradebook Setup, if you ever want a grade item to appear in the gradebook, but not to count towards the final score for students, you can do this by manually setting the weight at 0%, and then by going to the bottom banner and clicking Save Changes.